So what I've gone ahead and done is I've actually taken the fender well liner out. And once again, that's not a necessary step. That's just me showing you visually what everything looks like before I take it off the vehicle. I can see things, I know things that the camera can't show you, so I try to take things off so you can get a better access. Moving on to the back side of these fasteners, you've got some fingers. You got 2 along the bottom, and you got 2 more along the top, and then it starts going to the plastic snap-ons. Now we've got a portion that we need to move slightly on the finger to try to pull it to the actually slot in the front fascia, because it snaps in place with a little catch. Basically removing the catch is what we're doing. So we'll do that and we'll try to work it off. Now it's a matter of just finding the sweet spot. I felt that one went through. I can move up to the upper one. And like I said, keep in mind, we still got that double up here, and that double is kind of hard to get to. Now, I'll try my best. There we go, we got that one off, and we'll work our way up to the top. And all this is just kind of a touchy-feely type sensation. There we go. So now we got all the fingers released from the front fascia, and we can move on to the plastic fastener. They're trying to squeeze it from the back side, that way it doesn't come loose from the fender flare. Here's one of those fingers. Maybe I can show you a little better right here. I'm squeezing on one side and pull it off. Once I get it off enough, I'll show you more. Now, along the top edge here, that's the plastic finger I want to squeeze in on. They're actually plastic snaps. They have 2 little fingers that come out, kind of like a barb that we need to squeeze in the best we can. Otherwise, I don't want to break them off. So if I squeeze them, I have a better tendency to pull it off. Squeeze on the sides and pull out on the flare at the same time. That should give us enough room. If we need to, we can go a little further back and do the next one, as long as we're not working on breaking them. Like I said, just squeeze in on the barbs, and we'll move a little further back. There's a little bit more room. So here's another view of that fender flare and the fingers I was talking about, and the cutouts. You got a cutout here, 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 and here, and they slide in there, and they got a little barb that catches. That's what we're moving. Starting with that little latch or barb to where to pull back through. Now that we've got this taken back enough, it's a good ways away from that front bumper cover, so I'm not too worried about it. We didn't have to take it all the way out the vehicle and risk damaging those plastic fasteners. But when you go back, all you do is you line it up, squeeze it tight till you feel that little latch on the back side snap in place. You need to give a little tug to make sure it's fastened, so be it. Like I said, the paint is covered up by the tape so that we don't have no risk of scratching it going on with these little fingers right here. Now where the front fascia meets the front fender, we had a fastener up top we took off, and we got one back behind here. Now that we've got everything where we can access it, we've got that fender well liner out, we can reach up in there and get to it. I'll show you where it's at and we'll take it off. And once again, it's the same on the driver's side. Everything's just a duplicate. Remember now, fender well liner has been removed only to help show you with the camera. You can still get to all this stuff without taking everything off. All I'm going to do is back off this. I can use either a 10mm 1/4" drive, socket ratchet, or I can get my trusty 10mm ratchet wrench. I can take it all the way off. Now this is where the front fascia is actually bolted to the front fender, and that's the bottom bolt. We already took the top one off earlier. Now when it comes time to take the front fascia off, keep things in mind. If it's got front impact sensors or fog lights, there is a wiring harness that is attached to the back side of the fascia. That harness is going to come off with the fascia, so you don't have to disconnect the fog light bulbs on these like other vehicles. Now these lights right here, they stay on the vehicle. The front fascia just has a cutout that sits over it, so they'll be staying in place, as well as the upper assembly as well. So we've got to get to the main connector inside the driver's wheel well opening on the back side. Once we disconnect that, that disconnects the harness that is attached to the front fascia, and then it can come off as one. So right here on the driver's side, with that fender well liner just pulled back, all we did was take the fasteners and the rivets off. We didn't do anything else other than just pull it back. Washer bottles here, disconnect right here. If it has fog lights or possibly front impact sensors, all the wiring would go through that one connector. We're just going to disconnect that one connector. Now we do need to release the wiring rod fastener right there. We're just going to use our metal trim stick, pop it off. Now all this, like I said, is going to be coming off with the front fascia. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and start unsnapping the front fascia from the front of the vehicle. Now it snaps in place along the perimeter, so I don't want you to think I'm trying to be too rough removing it. Unfortunately, the fact that it snaps in means I do have to apply some pressure to take it off. And we're not talking about ripping it off, we're not talking about using pry bars. But we got to apply pressure till it pops along the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that fender flare out slightly, and I'm going to put my hand up on here, and I'm going to start moving it gently, work my way around. I don't really want to use a trim stick because it's too many painted surfaces, metal. It could tweak it, could end up creasing it, do something. So I'm just going to work my way around. Just be gentle. Yes, the snap sound like you're doing something, but unfortunately you've got to unsnap it. It's the nature of the beast. And now once I get the other side, I can go ahead and take this completely off. So now we're ready to just grab both sides, support it, take it off. Start pulling back slowly just in case you do get anything attached. You'll see, as you can see, the wiring harness came off with it, so there was nothing to disconnect. Now I can just set it off to the side, somewhere where it won't get scratched up. Just a quick thing to point out, these plastic pieces right here are what guide and snap that front fascia into place. They're channeled to position it correctly, so that way you get that nice tight fit around. So that when you put it in, that's where you give the gentle tap as you're going around reinstalling it, so that you hear the snaps and that it stays flush like it was originally. That's what you're pulling against. That's what you're using the force to get it removed from. So definitely make sure it's guided in these tracks properly and that they snap in firmly. So there you have it. Now we got the front fascia off. Now we got access to everything that was covered behind it. For example, if you're going to be doing the headlamp assemblies, now you've got access to those fasteners and you can take those off. Now the front headlamp assembly is held in place with 4 fasteners, one in each one of the corners. We also got the connector on the back side for the bulb, so I'll work on disconnecting that, and then I will back off on the 4 bolts, remove everything as an assembly, and then we'll have the hand lamp housing out of the way. You'll see some plastic push pins here. All that is for the rubber seal. This is what fills the void between the headlamp assembly and the front fascia. Those stay in place. Don't worry about those. Just worry about the 4 perimeter 10mm and the connector on the back side. Now that the fender wheel liner is out of the way, front fascia is out of the way, we got easy access to get up in there to the main connector for that headlamp assembly. Now we get the 4 fasteners off, and then we can take it out of the way. Let's go ahead and get the fasteners off. We get the last one off. We'll kind of support it by hand, that way it doesn't just fall. Probably save that last upper one right here. Now we got the last fastener out. Now we can just pick it up and pull it out. That's your whole headlamp assembly. You got the connector on the back side that we disconnected. We've also got the access to get into the bulb. And all that's done on the vehicle from the fender wheel liner, so this is just if you're replacing the whole entire headlamp assembly. So now that we got the front bumper cover assembly off, now you got access to a lot of things that were behind it. For those of you who want to add the tow hooks, now you got the room to get to that. Also, if you're replacing these lamp assemblies, now you've got access to those fasteners and also pulling them off. Now the installation of that front bumper cover assembly is just the opposite of removal. If you follow each one of the steps, you shouldn't have any problem. Just take care on the sides that you don't do any scratching to the painted areas, and that's why we put tape on there. Also, the metal rivets that we drilled out, the ones that were there, technically there have been 4. Go back with some plastic rivets. You would have no issues if you do that. Just follow the steps. Everything should be pretty cut and dry. So at this point, this Razz Ring kind of thumbs up on YouTube. Don't forget you can like me on Facebook, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. If you got any comments or suggestions about the front fascia removal on this Jeep Cherokee or anything Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram related, please feel free to email me at david@motorcitymechanic.com, and I'll try to get back to you in a timely manner. Once again, thanks for watching these videos.